Game of the day. fbjohanne versus new1234. Jess versus Jess.
Welcome back to the channel, folks. Semi-original guy here, aka Mr. Cannon from Advanced Wars by Web, bringing you another live league game of the day. Today, we are on Playing It Cool. This is a triple base, double airport, double port, and comm tower supporting matchup. Now we have fbjohanne versus new1234. Now, Mr. Red Flowers himself suggested this one. So thank you kindly, Red Flowers, for all the support in bringing these games to my attention. It is highly appreciated. Now, when we take a look at this map, it looks like your standard strong side versus weak side dynamic here, with the strong sides and weak sides being on opposite sides of the map. Now, this map is mirrored down the center here, so it is the exact same on both sides. So, very likely you will see somewhat of the exact same strategy coming out of both players. Considering that we have a Jess mirror here today, folks. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's the tankiest girl of them all? Well, it is definitely Jess. Jess is the certified Mega Tank champion of Advanced Wars by Web. Now, also considering that we have this airport down here in the bottom corner of the map, which does require either a black boat or a transport copter to get, whether or not we're going to be seeing that property get capped is an entirely different story, folks, because you do basically have to forego one tank on the front lines in order to grab that. Now, could be beneficial because you would get two properties out of it, but in a map where the HQs are so close to each other in the middle of the map, sometimes you can't let go of that single tank on the front lines because it could potentially be a game-breaking decision. So you have to definitely time those moves very, very well. Now, some things that you can do, if you see your opponent go for it, then normally it's safe to go for it. But if you don't see your opponent go for it, then you have to make the decision of whether or not you feel comfortable enough on the front lines to warrant such a move in order to go for it. So, one way or another, folks, we're going to be having ourselves a game here. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and see what went down in the live league today. On the first few days, folks, you all know the deal. It is the standard infantry builds, because you gotta get them infantry on the field. It is the #1 priority in Advanced Wars by Web. #2 priority in Advanced Wars by Web, after all, is making sure that you like and subscribe to the channel for all that hot live league action, folks. As both players do the little fakey going to pretend to capture the property, but then go for the base instead, because the #3 priority in Advanced Wars by Web is making sure that you capture those neutral bases in order to get your unit count up right away. Now, especially in a map like this, you definitely need unit count, so get those bases as quickly as you can. The other thing is you have to make sure to put a lot of pressure in the front lines as soon as you can, folks. As you can see here, both players are automatically hitting that line right here, making sure they capture that property. Now, let's see if we are going to be seeing some kind of an interrupt scenario here, or if both players are just going to say, you know what? Gentleman's agreement, or maybe gentlewoman's agreement in this case, because we have a Jess mirror, folks, to just let the properties get capped and get a good old-fashioned brawl going. Boom, 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 capture, 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 but new1234 does not want that to happen. He is like, absolutely not. We have absolutely no gentleman's agreement here, gentlewoman's agreement here, gentle person's agreement. There is none, because he has already gone and interrupted that capture right there. Now, considering that new1234 has captured the southern property, going for this interrupt is actually a critically vital scenario here. Very, very good move, because by doing that, you interrupt your opponent, you slow down their income, but in addition to that, fbjohanne down south has not captured this property right here. This one is uncaptured, which means that if they decide to go down and try to capture the property, we have an immediate attack right here, another interrupt could even bust out another tank out of this position right here to immediately go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then be able to immediately after that start putting pressure on that property. But you are fighting into the 2 base side if you decide doing that, so there is definitely some potential risks involved in a move such as that. Now let's see what Joanne decides to do here. Foregoing the capture because it's definitely not worth it at this point. However, this move right here is a little bit risky because it does open the 6 HP infantry up to an attack. Also, a follow-up attack from this infantry could potentially KO it. So, definitely an interesting move indeed. Alright, we got the tank down south. Pretty strong tank. I like it. New 1234 already goes for another attack. Goes and tries to capture the properties. Brings the tank a little bit forward to start putting some flipping pressure on the front lines here now. Joanne is going to have to build a tank up north now. Basically is forced into buying the tank up north. But with a nice move down south, manages to clear one of the infantry. And clears the infantry up north as well. So that does put them in a fairly good position unit count wise. However, the captures are definitely going to be suffering. Now, they are technically ahead right now, but with those 2 flips right there, 2 property grabs, that does put new 1234 in the lead temporarily here. Oh, attempting to go for a flip of a property down south here. Interesting. Very feisty move indeed. Is it going to work out for them? We'll find out very shortly here, folks. As we get another tank down south over here on day 7. New. Going to go capture that comm tower. Going for some of those center properties now. In addition to that, finally going and capturing the airport in the back lines here. Now, Jess's battlecopters are obviously a little bit weaker than that of other COs, but they are still battlecopters and they are still incredibly annoying. They're pesky little mosquitoes on the front line, just buzzing around, causing mischief, and you just don't want to see it, folks. They are probably comparable to the mosquitoes that you would see in the original Jumanji, starring Robin Williams. They're big, they can cause problems, but you know, you hit them hard enough and they'll probably explode. Alright, going for 2 more properties over here. Very nice to see. Defending the HQ. Now there's no immediate threat on the HQ because you can't actually move a unit directly onto the HQ right now, but it is very good practice to always make sure that you have something on the HQ, especially when your opponent is getting very close. But Joanne now, down south, has a fantastic push. Double tank push over here. Multiple infantry against very little offense over here from the solo base side. This infantry obviously will be able to cause some mischief. But aside from that, there's really not too much. New could potentially bust out a tank down south, which might be advisable at this moment considering we're against 2. But also easily, this tank right here could just come down south. So if this tank decides to move down here and possibly park itself on this little forest here, next turn it could make its way over to this property and start assisting in the defense of the southern region. Now that obviously would take away a tank from the north, making the north an even tank game. So you never know what these players are going to do, folks. Let's go ahead and continue on with match and let's see what goes down. Boom, clicking off screen, making sure we got everything all good. Multiple captures here. Ooh, New is actually going for one of Joanne's properties now. So technically that property should fall to Joanne, but New is going for it. Absolutely going for it. Now this attack right here is pretty okay. Yeah, this is actually a really good attack because there's only one potential attack right here. However, it's got no coverage, so maybe get some coverage. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where New decides to move this tank right here, because that's very important. Ooh, front line. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that clears. Unfortunately, Jess infantry are very weak, so they're not going to be able to clear infantry very easily, unfortunately. But FB, Joanne, flips the property down south, making this a 16 to 15 game, which is very nice. However, Jess really only needs 15 properties in total, because that will allow you to get the tank infantry combination that Jess loves. Now, what Jess really wants is 21 properties so that you can get 3 tanks out every single day. But just having 1 or 2 tanks every day and an infantry is perfectly fine. Okay, so we have tank strikes, folks. We got a first tank strike over here. Joanne decided to go up and smack new1234's tank right here. And it was a fantastic hit. 60% damage. You literally cannot ask for anything more than that, folks. Got a mech over here from new as well. Very interesting. Double mech. Okay. Okay. Double mech is actually really nice because 14,000 funds left as well. That's double tank up north along with that mech. It's going to be very difficult for these infantry, or not infantry, for these tanks to attack into here when there's a bunch of mechs around. Okay, so we have ourselves 6 tanks versus a 7 tank scenario right now. Joanne will be able to bust out 2 more tanks here this turn. So we have an infantry clear. We have a property flip potentially going through here. Got an infantry clear. Got a infantry capture potential here. Now, this one is probably not going to be going through because there is definitely potential for a break. Tank plus infantry will break the infantry, allowing for another tank to move in, sit on that city, and attack this tank here for the deadly first strike. But we'll see. We'll see. Anything can happen, folks. This is a little bit of an adventurous cap over here. I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure if I feel that one, but considering that Joanne right now is 25 units to 19, 69,000 value, folks. Nice. Absolutely nice. Yeah, so there's the 2-shot, and this tank is definitely moving up and striking this tank. Yep. Without a doubt, folks, 10 out of 10 would strike again. Another tank moving in. Oh, my lord. That's a gnarly little push here. Even the mechs are moving in now. So you know what? It's actually not really too bad of an idea for a Jess to build a few mechs as well. So the infantry versus the mech scenario here, especially for Jess, is not going to be very good. Now, mechs normally have a little bit more offense than infantry. They're a little bit stronger in general. You guys can see here the traditional infantry on the plains attack going on to a mech on a city. You're only going to be doing 31 to 37% damage right here. Counter attack is 41 to 46%. So quite good. Quite good for the mech, not for the infantry. All right, it is now Black Hole's turn. So this is interesting right here. All right, we got an attack. It's going to happen. But considering that Jess does have a comm tower that is 120% offense for those vehicle units, so this is going to guarantee a KO. However, I don't think that there's any follow-up here. There's nothing that can really sit on the city except for infantry. And if infantry would be KO cleared potentially, this could result in a double tank strike next turn, but let's see what happens. Goes in for the attack. Goes in for the clear with this infantry as well, instead of going for more capture. Attacks an infantry, attacks a tank, gets the clear, gets another attack. Oh, and gets the first strike down here. Okay, very interesting. Nice. So infantry strike first, followed by tank, followed by tank. I like the push down south. It's not looking too bad. It does open up the tank to a mech strike right here, but very little follow-up for this tank because the tank has to move first in order for the mech to come here and attack. So not too bad. Base skip last turn as well. Very interesting. All right, new. Kind of trailing right now in the overall income game, overall unit value, but actually winning in income overall. Gonna be popping the turbocharge. Got the Jess normal co-power ready to go here Let's see what they managed to do with this one. Gets a nice 2-strike on the tank, plus an additional clear and a first strike. Brutal. Absolutely brutal, folks. Gets a nice clear right there. Oh, gets a first strike on this tank, and the mech moves in. Oh, that is absolutely devastating to Joanne's army right here. Very brutal indeed. Now, there is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 fresh tanks, so they're going to be able to get the benefit of the super co-power, the overdrive from Jess. Let's see what Jess decides to do with this overdrive. Definitely going to get some big tank energy over here, folks. Doesn't get the infantry clear, though. Or doesn't get the infantry luck roll, I should say. Mech probably, or infantry probably would have been better for that. I don't know if could the tank hit anything else? Yeah, tank can't hit anything else, so it doesn't really matter too much. All right, that's fine. Boom. Oh, does that get... That's a clear. Oh, it doesn't get it. Doesn't get it. Oh, rough. Unfortunate series of events here have led to this 1 HP tank surviving a double infantry attempt to end its existence. And another strike down here. Follow-up attack. Another tank. And just like that, Joanne is back in the game here. Actually ahead 22 units to 14 now. Very, very tricky game for new 1234. But a lot of these infantry are very injured, so they will be easily taken out by a few simple infantry strikes here. Joanne might need to pull back. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that was pretty big. It was a lot of clears. We got a lot of clears up north. Got a lot of clears down south. Now, it really just comes down to where are the potential attacks. Now, all these infantry right here are very vulnerable. There's only 1 tank in position to counterattack any attacks that happen here. As Adder's team just starts hitting hard over here. And even this tank is protected now because they don't... Yeah, there's not really any... Wait, 1, 2, 3... Yeah, no. This tank is protected because any tank that decides to go up and attack this tank now is going to get blasted by a mech. Okay, we got a sacrifice here, leading to a 5 HP, 3 HP engagement. Manages to get the clear. Clears the 5. Clears another 5. Not too shabby at all. Sacrifice over here. Sacrifice leading to a capture. 7 HP capture, though. It's not going to be going through too quickly here. New's got a co-power again here, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3 first strikes over here. That's going to devastate the north, folks. I think we could potentially expect a very large attack up north here. Not even going for the co-power, though. Interesting. We could have actually did quite a bit of damage to the entire front line here, but New is holding on to the co-power, which is not a bad idea. It's always nice to have a co-power on deck, folks. Now it is Joanne's turn once again. Attacks the 3, attacks the full, builds another tank. I mean, like I said, Jess is the tank master of tier 4. Certified mega tank champion. Now, if we want to guarantee this capture, the only way really to do that is to go down here and injure the mech. Injure a mech. We bring an infantry down. Actually, infantry plus tank. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if it's really worth it. I mean, it'd be nice to get the property. But this property is doomed now. So there's not really anything that can stop it. And we joined a unit, actually, right? To go in for that. mean, if we're going to join units to go for the capture, it would be nice to make sure that we get the capture. I mean, he would eat a tank hit from a mech, but he would get the property temporarily. I don't know. This guy's doomed to fail now, unfortunately. Oh, takes it down to 5. Doesn't actually clear it though. Oh, you know what? Join, block, attack. I think this could potentially go through. The Jess unlucky streak strikes again, folks. Once again, a 1 HP tank has survived the engagement from the infantry. Ooh. So this is an even game again, folks. I don't like that position. Attack from right here. Right there. And block it. Protect it. Always foregoing the capture to attack. Ooh. I don't know if I like that. I want to get that capture. I want the capture. Get the captures going. Number 4 priority in Advances by Web. Make sure you get them captures. Capture those properties. Get the flips, folks. That's what it's all about, because at day 31, the start of day 31, folks, end of day 30, that is the end of the live game. Whoever has the most properties at that point is declared the winner, and we are officially halfway there, folks. All right, so unfortunately that move has basically lost all those infantry over here, so that is quite unfortunate. But the tank army from Johanne here is getting very hardy, folks. This is a hardy little army here. But new is threatening super power, and that is incredibly dangerous. Now, just superpower is nothing to scoff at. This is an incredibly strong power. It can do much damage. And the other thing that you have to remember is it is +2 movement as well. So little moves like this, excuse me, little moves like this, where you put a tank in range of a backline tank with super power, that does actually allow for an attack. Transport copter. Okay. So Johanne's finally decided to go transport copter. So they are going to try to acquire one of these two properties here. Well, both of the properties, obviously. Not one, but both. So that is going to help in the overall game later. But as you can see here, new forced to do the exact same. But now is a very good time to do it because both players are actually on the defensive. Nobody's really attacking. We're in the stalemate section of the game here, folks. So building the transport copter now is actually a good play. All right, going for the property flip. Bringing lots of tanks to the front line. I don't feel super comfortable bringing so many tanks to the front line here. Especially with the super power coming. And especially because this guy right here, if you're going to bring units to the front line, I think it's important to remember attacking order of your opponent. So if your opponent has super power and it's got +2 movement, you want to at least make sure that your opponent cannot utilize every single unit that they have. In this case right here, it looks like there at least is the potential for every tank to hit something really good. Now, is he gonna be able to break this line? Probably not. But I don't know. I don't know, folks. Anything could happen. End turn. Almost out of time, folks. Both players are actually dangerously low on time. So these shifty turns have definitely been costing them a lot of time. Oh my god, look at that. Just meeting the army head on, folks. Both armies neck and neck, right beside each other. Anything goes right now, folks. Anything goes. Transport copter drops off the infantry. We got a tank sacrifice into a tank shot. Secondary tank shot. Third tank shot. A couple infantry strikes up north as well. Another tank sacrifice. I would have probably preferred to see that 1 HP tank get heals to become a 3 HP tank next turn. Because 3 HP tanks are pretty good. Now, a lot of people will say that, oh, no, you don't heal your units because that costs income. Well, sometimes it can be good, especially when you're dealing with wall breaking situations. 3 HP tanks can be very nice. 4 HP tanks are a little bit better. 5 HP tanks can be a hit or miss situation. But either way, folks, perfectly fine. Boom. New 1234. Busted out the overdrive. And there's so many targets, folks. There's a sack. Oh, that sacrifice did not work. Oh, lucky. Get the 80% to take that tank out. That's 2 more hits right there. Oh, the infantry gets the lucky roll today. What do you know? Would you look at that? 2 more tank strikes and a battle copter on the field. What are these guys even doing here? Get them off of the field. This is the tank show, folks. We don't want to see no battle copters in the tank show. Another sacrifice here from the, what was that, like a 5 HP tank? Yeah, sacrifice from the 5 HP tank just to do damage, taking that tank down to 7. And with that, that was a pretty deadly push, folks. Now, all of a sudden, new 1234 has jumped ahead in the lead, but now has to eat an overdrive himself. Let's see what can occur with this overdrive. Get an attack, get a second attack, not too bad. Get an infantry clear, get the mouse out of the field. Got another attack. Got another clear. Capping the airport now. Oh, attempting to cap the HQ. Interesting. Definitely a very bold move going for the HQ without too much protection, but definitely going to be a deterrent here for new 1234. Is going to be forced to attack it with something at least, but many units in the vicinity, so probably not going to be too much of a deal to attack it. Easy attack with the battlecopter. Actually, full movement with the battlecopter as well, so definitely the route to go here. But multiple attacks onto the center now, and it clears up north. This is definitely turning into the new game right here on day 20. Anti-air moves in, but does go into a pretty curious location here. If that anti-air gets hit, that's going to be at least it's going to be 1 of 2 protectors against the battlecopters here. But only 2 tanks on the field right now that are actually like relatively close to full health, and those are going to be going up against 5 of Jess tanks over here from the Orange Star territory. Battlecopter moves in, gets the clear, attacks the anti-air over here on day 20. Oh my god. Now, is there a route? Is there a way? Oh, looks like we are actually 2 movements short of being able to attack this right here. So maybe the 3... Maybe the 3 HP anti-air might be able to find route to attack one of the battlecopters, but one of those battlecopters is going to survive, folks. Day 21, desperately trying to push back on this assault that's been going on here. Moves the anti-air onto the HQ and passes turn over to new 1234 on day 21. Now let's see what occurs here. Tank strike, battlecopter strike, infantry strike, gets a luck roll, gets a clear on the infantry capping down south, double tank strike onto the HQ, getting the clear. Now that is actually a fairly lucky roll, folks. That is not necessarily supposed to happen, but there is potential for it to happen. So lucky roll indeed, folks. But at this point, 12 units to 21 units. Take that number, reverse it, and you got yourself a deficit. And new1234 is the winner of this game right here. Played a fantastic game. Joanne fought hard, did their best, but was unable to secure a victory here today. Congratulations to both players. What a fantastic game. Loved the tanks. Loved the tanks. Could have used a classy boy or two. That would have been nice, but can't always get what you want, folks. If you enjoyed this content today, make sure you leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye for now.